Hola, this is Fer. Thank you so much for being here and exchanging this energy with me. I hope that you're able to take away from my story and use it as a source of inspiration. Much peace and love. Enjoy.
Hello, so I'm Fer. Um, okay, so I'm trying to do this like as raw as I can do it. Not really trying to sugarcoat anything and trying to come like fully present as my authentic self. Because at the end of the day, like, I'm not here to sell you a dream. I'm not here to give you fake news, you know? Like, I'm not trying to push my deals onto you. I'm not trying to sell nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just giving you me. And the reason why I feel compelled to do so is because I feel like everybody has a life story, right? Everybody has a life story. And everybody's life story has its within it its own light, and it should be shared with people, right? And you know, ultimately we choose whether we want to share it or we don't. And I started sharing my journey through my blog, and I started back in 2018 during one of the darkest parts of my life, it being when my husband, father of my children, transitioned. And to me, it was probably one of the most difficult things that I've had to process. And I'm still continuing to grow from that experience in itself, right? But I've gone through it. So it's no longer a part, like a knowledge piece. Like, I didn't pick up a book and learn about death. I didn't pick up a book and learn about well, what happens when you lose your husband. I didn't pick up no. Like, what I have now is wisdom. I don't have knowledge, I don't have information, I have wisdom. I have wisdom when it comes to processing the death of your life partner, right? The father of your children. It's not something that is easily explained unless you go through it, right? And honestly, when it comes to death in general, right, like, it's inevitable. Everybody goes through it. Like, you literally come to this earth plane to die at one point. Whether you complete your life mission or not, that's up to you. And that's basically, you know, why I'm here sharing my life story and sharing publicly, like, about my life. Because in all actuality, right, we have a soul contract with ourselves, and we choose to reincarnate onto this earth plane. Like, and so when we're born, we have a contract, and that contract is written in the stars, in the energy that we embody, right? The experiences that we create with our mind, the conditioning that we receive from the people around us, from our parents, from our brothers and sisters, from our grandparents, from our tias and tios, and todos, right? Like, we're conditioned, somos condicionados. And basically what ends up happening is that through this conditioning, right, through this shaping and forming of yourself, you forget that contract that you have on this earth plane. And so basically, I'm sharing my story, right? Like, my understanding, my overstanding of what it is to navigate on this earth plane, but living out in purpose, living out my personal purpose, which has been and will be and is to educate people, youngsters, right? I was a teacher for like about 4 years. I started off at a middle school, and I was fairly young. I was like 22. I was 22 years old when I started teaching, which is fairly young, right? Like, and so, like, I had to navigate the space of the system, right? I had to navigate the system. I had to do this, I had to do that, I had to do a lot of things, right? But at the end of the day though, like, here's the knowledge that I gained. This is the wisdom that I gained through my experience with my students, who I call my children. Those children, my babies, 'cause those are my babies, like, and I feel that on a really deep level. My babies, I wish I would have been there for them in a way that I could have helped them, right? Like, and show them the things that I know now, because had I known, had I been aware, had I been like, yo, I know astrology and I know the energy and I know how to read your natal chart, and let me show you how to interpret your own natal chart. Let me introduce you to what all this is about. Oh my gosh, like, and that's why I'm here, because I realized that my voice, what I have to share, like, it needs to come out. It needs to be expressed, and it needs to come out in a way that's authentic. But not only so, like, in a way that's authentic, but also in a way that resonates with who it's going to resonate, and it's going to fall off with the people it's going to fall off with, right? And that's why I'm here. Like, I'm here to share my journey on this earth plane for the purpose of healing myself, healing the youth, and that's my purpose. Okay, convening in community, being a home, being a mother to many, right? And I've done so many, like, different things, right? Like, I've done like, I've taken on different forms of healing, and also different ways of figuring out, like, my life purpose. Like, I've meditated on it, right? I lived it out subconsciously, and, like, I didn't know, but I knew, like, my soul knew where to take me. But in the system, you're very, very restrained, right? Like, there's a lot of restriction when it comes to a lot of things. Like, and I'm not here to fight a system. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and because you know, some people ask me, like, why'd you leave teaching? Like, yeah, like, all the, you know, I was so good with my students, right? Like, and in terms of relationship, I may have sucked at teaching Spanish, okay? Like, shit. But you know what? Like, I love those kids, and my relationship with them went, like, can trump any type of material that I would have ever taught them, because I knew how to relate to them. I knew how to tap into their energy without them even knowing, right? But it came from a place of love. It was never a place of give me your energy, because no, like, y'all, when I say those are my babies, those are my babies. Like, and so as I'm stepping into this space of where I'm not living to please the system and abide by rules and abide by certain restraints, and not only that, but I too can heal, and not only for myself but for my children, because they too will one day have to grow up in a system and not know themselves. And that's the thing. That's why I'm here. Like, yo, let me teach you how to tap into you, to your own power, into your divinity, into what you came to this earth plane to do. Because everybody has a soul contract, and that contract is your natal chart. Like, literally, it's your natal chart. So basically, you know, I've tapped into, you know, different esoteric teachings, and, like, all of them point to healing people, healing children, being in community, and not only that, right? in the process of, you know, living out my North Node, which is sharing my resources, I have my my North Node in Scorpio. So I'm learning to detach from the material world. I'm learning to share, to give, right? And to be with others. And at that, it's in the third house, right? Third house is ruled by Taurus, naturally. And so it has, right, that energy of, oh, I'm sorry, I said third house. It's in my second house. I'm sorry. Taurus is the second house. But it's in my second house. So naturally it has that energy, right? Like that energy of possessions, and Scorpio being like shared possessions, right? I'm learning to detach myself from the earthly needs, the rigidity, the rigid side of me, because I'm a Virgo ascendant. So I'm very much of this earth, right? I am a Capricorn sun, so I'm very much of this earth, right? Like, yo, I am very much like, right? But my North Node in Scorpio is telling me, let it go, right? So with that being said, like, this is why I quit my job. There's like a reason why, right? Like, this is before I even dug deeper and deeper and deeper. But once I started digging deeper and deeper and deeper within myself, right? And with digging deeper in astrology, I started figuring this out. Like, oh my gosh, like, this was my calling. This was my call. Like, yo, quit that motherfucking job that's not fulfilling, and not because of the children, but because I was stuck in a place that made me unhappy, and it was toxic. Like, the environment in the school system is toxic. Like, let me tell you, it's very toxic. There's good people, and I'm not gonna say that there's not. Like, there's amazing people, and I really congratulate those who you know, stick to their purpose. However, it's a system that's going to eat you alive regardless of what you try to do, right? And so my call to step back, like, some people looked at me like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, that's extreme. That's a little extreme there, you know. That's a little like, you know, why are you quitting your job? But this is why. The reason why I quit my job is because there comes a point where it's not it doesn't resonate anymore. And that's what happened. And I could explain that with astrology. Like, I could literally explain that. Those little ticks that you get, those little feelings, oh, this doesn't sit well, the little butterflies, the whatever you want to call it, that's your voice, that's your soul, that's your spirit, right? Telling you to get the fuck on, to figure it out, to go for it, to attack it, right? That's your spirit. And so when I started to listen to spirit, tapping in, doing this, the shadow work, because shadow work is so important as you're figuring out who you are. Like, shadow work is the most important. Why? Because it's like taking off layers like this, like literally like, this don't work, this don't work, this don't work, this don't work. But it's also, you're writing it down. Journaling is so important. Journaling allows you to become the author of your own life. An author, in the etymology dictionary, means somebody who creates, right? Somebody who creates. And basically, you're creating, you're writing out, you are procreating, you are the producer of your own life. You're the editor, you're the writer, okay? And so, with that being said, okay, I come to tell you that there's different forms of, like, coming down to find your purpose. And there's astrology, number one. That is your soul contract. Know your natal chart. Like, I don't care what else you do, know your natal chart. Know your natal chart. Listen to spirit. It will guide you. You consult the star second, is what my teacher was. Royalty on Instagram. Shout out to Amina L. She taught all of her astrology students, right, and in her high priestess and her magician's courses, like, meditate, listen to spirit, and consult the stars second, right? And that's what I've done. And so with that being said, right, there's that. There's also I tapped into Gene Keys. Gene Keys gave me the same result. I tapped into the Aztec calendar. The Aztec calendar told me the same thing about, you know, being a fertile person. Being fertile is in the mind, giving birth to a lot of different things. I'm a manifesting generator when it comes to human design. Human design is another one. It's very intricate, and there's a lot of information for both, for Gene Keys and for all three of them: astrology, Gene Keys, and human design. But I suggest all three of them. Like, I'll drop the links. Check them all out, because this is a great way, like literally an amazing way to find your purpose. Like, and it's written, but it like literally written. Oh my gosh, like we spend a lot of time like wondering, like, yo, what do we do, blah 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 blah, and it's like the universe will just go like this, like, every day until you pick up, like pick up oh and it will just keep going and going and going and going. I want to share a story. So basically it all started in the month of June. I had this like very like literally strong urge, like I had been talking about it for months, for years, to move to Playa del Carmen, in Mexico. And the reason being was in 2019 I made a trip out here. It was a girls trip, and actually prior to that I had a family trip, and we did it was a road trip, and I got to see like the Yucatan Peninsula, the Merida area, Bacalar, if you know, like the region of the peninsula. You know, we went to Bacalar and we did a road trip, and it was amazing. Like, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. I've never done something like that. And in Mexico, like, oh my god, like, what? So fast forward, that same year in December, I had a girls trip with my homegirl Tanya. Yo, Tanya, much love to you, sis. This trip was amazing. So like 2 days or the day before we flew out, I went to go get my copetes cut, my bangs, and the stylist, she's like, you know, chilling, cutting my hair, and she turns me, and on her wall is this pendulum. It's like this pendiente. It's like a circle necklace, and it has the tree of life, and I was so intrigued by it because somebody gave me that exact same necklace like 2 years or a year and a half prior to that, when my partner transitioned. Like, the day of the funeral, one of his friend's moms came up to me, and she like gave me this beautiful card, and inside the card was this necklace. It was the same necklace that was on this lady's wall. This is the first time I ever tapped into synchronicities, because there was a call like, whoa, why do you have that necklace? And then she tells me that somebody gave it to her 3 days after her dad had transitioned. Yeah, so basically what ends up happening is she starts to tell me about like numerology, like her take on it. And the reason why she brought it up was because when I paid her, I paid with the same debit card that I had when my husband was still alive. Like, excuse me, it was a card with a picture of us, like my oldest daughter, me, and him. And she was like, why do you still have this? Like, you need to get rid of it. This is all numerology, in sync, like energy. When you go to the ocean, release him. Let it go. Let him go. Release him, and pray for everybody. Pray for humanity. Pray for yourself. Pray for your family. Pray for him. But release him. Let him go. Woo! So, me and Tanya went on this trip. It was beautiful. It was so much fun. Like, I can't really express to you like how much fun it was, but within it was just these amazing experiences of synchronicity. So what ends up happening is, so we're here, and we go to the cenote. A cenote is basically like an underwater sinkhole, and in the sinkholes there's like water, etc., but there's one in particular we go to. It's dark. Like, I've never been to a closed off, and they call those like a baby cenote because it's not open at all. It's just like a small hole, and then like we go in, we had to walk in and like walk completely in the dark until it drops off, and you just like swim in the water. It was scary, like, to say the least. It was so scary. But there we are, like, just swimming, right? Like, there's baths, like, oh my god, it was crazy. And we come out and he tells us, yo, this is cenote Hilario. I was like, excuse me, what? So my husband's middle name was Hilliard. Hilario in Spanish. We were in Mexico. I'm like, oh, wait. Like, I can't do this. This woman, that necklace. I'm in Mexico, in the water, at the beach, releasing my husband. Like, no, this can't. So later that day, we drove to Playa del Carmen, because this was near like Chichen Itza. So, you know, we drive to Playa del Carmen that day, and we ran out of gas. Like, we ran out of gas on the highway, and I'm like, Tanya, I don't know how we're gonna do this, because the meter kept saying there was enough, then there wasn't, and I'm like, oh my gosh. This is a highway that's not transited at all. There was not, like, we would go miles upon miles, kilometers upon kilometers of not seeing a car. And then out of nowhere comes a vehicle with gas. Like, I cannot make this up. We like, he drives past us, and like, we signal to him that we need gas, like, please help us, right? He pulls over, we pay him money. I can't even remember the amount of money, but he gives us gas. He fills up the tank to the best of his ability, and we go. And we make it to Playa del Carmen. Well, when we get here, we had parked somewhere, gotten a little lost, and we started walking. We started walking, and we come across this, like, this store that sells crystals, right? And so in the crystal shop, we get what we needed, and there's that tree of life in there. I'm like, bro, what the hell? Like, and my friend had gotten one, right? She bought one. Then we cross the street, we go eat. But I had this thought when I was in there. I'm like, I want to get, there was these handmade hearts that were like plushy. I'm like, oh, I want to get one for my car. But I didn't get it. So when we were walking, I seen those plush little hearts in 2 cars. I'm like, yo, Tony, we should go back. Let's go back. So we pull up closer. We park right outside, and we get our Reiki reading done, right? So I went in first. He told me I had a blockage in my sacral, which I know I feel like I still do. And this is why I'm here, because I'm unblocking my sacral chakra right now. So with that being said, the owner pulls up, and she's like there to bring or pick something up. I'm not sure, but me and her start to conversate, and, you know, I tell her about my husband, and she's like, oh, like, let me give you some herbs, like, take them with you. You need to sweeten your life. You need to sweeten your life. And she told me about this bath and to take it, etc., etc. On our way out, her daughter gives me a card. And guess what the name of this shop is? The Tree of Life. El Árbol de la Vida. I couldn't. I was like, yo, bro, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? I never in my life experienced, like, so many synchronicities. From the hair, from the cenote, to the shop. Then fast forward a whole year. So in November of 2020, I joined a class. It was a high priestess class with Amina L, Wise Royalty on Instagram. So basically, I joined her class, and I've never done tarot, okay? Like, I had never done it in terms of, like, somebody doing it for me, right? So this is my first time, and she pulls a card. Oh, and here, get this, like, before, like, literally that day, I had shared my story about me being a widow, right? So she tells us, like, hey, yo, ladies, tell me when to stop. Like, tell me when to stop. So basically, like, she pulls out her deck, and I'm like, stop. And the card she pulls out is, like, Hansis something. It was from a, I remember the deck, the New Orleans deck. And it was like voodoo. It was a voodoo, New Orleans voodoo deck, right? And it's this Hansis card, I believe, is the one that she pulled, or that's what it was called. But it's the widow letting her husband go in water. I'm like, excuse me? Like, what? Like, what? Repeat that. Oh, I can't. Like, my mind was blown. I was like, this is too much. Like, everything is energy. Like, it does not stop. Energy can never be created nor destroyed. Everything is energy. Literally everything. So at this point, I'm like a little tripped out. But me and my homegirls had a trip planned for that following month. In the middle of the month, we were coming to Playa del Carmen. So we came and had this amazing experience. Like, it was amazing to connect, because y'all, like, when I say me and my two soul sisters, we connected on a soul level. When I tell you it was a soul level, it was so deep. And it was the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced with humans, besides giving birth and having my own children. But, like, it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. But on this experience, we went into a cenote. And I can't remember the exact transits, but I know that the sun was in Sagittarius, right? And there were birds flying. And these birds were flying clockwise. And then out of nowhere, like, my friend Bianca, who is a Sagittarius, walks out. And guess what the birds do? They walk out with her. I'm like, yo, like, this energy is, like, so, like, every time I come here, there's, like, things going on. Well, fast forward, I'm like, you know what? I need to move to Playa del Carmen. I love it here. The weather, the energy. Like, this is where I'm from. I need to return to that place. Like, there was always so many buts and so many worries and things to take into consideration nonetheless. But this is a place where I wanted to come. And so, fast forward to June 2021, right? I am getting these, like, feelings, like this push, like, go. Fucking go. I have been talking about it. I've told people, like, yo, let's go. But, like, yo, I got this feeling, like, book a flight. And I started looking at flights, and the cheapest flight that I could find was 4th of July weekend, that Sunday, right? And so I was like, all right, cool. Let me just book the flight. Like, fuck it. A lot of shit was in the air. Finances were in the air. My house was in the air. Where I was gonna go live was in the air. Like, transportation, everything, expenses, everything, like, was in the air. I was like, fuck it. I got enough money to buy a plane ticket one way. Let me just do it. So I booked a flight, and like, the craziest thing happened is that I get here, right? Like, I get here, And the first night that we're here, me and my daughters, prior to even flying out here, like a couple days before, I was having this conversation with one of my soul sisters. Shout out to Ash, like, sis, oh my God, sis. Wow, me and this sister, me and her, we're like the synchronicity queens. Like, we just be, wow, right in the wave, just right in the wave. Whoa, me and her. So me and her had this conversation about, yo, like, I kind of want to be a doula, a partera, you know, get into this kind of work. I like death, maybe becoming a death doula, and helping people navigate through that experience, right? And you know, I'm coming to learn a little bit about both and the real work that goes behind it, right? But anyway, so we're having these conversations. So then we come to Playa del Carmen. We're in the taxi the first night here. We had went to the centro to go eat. And when we go eat, we get in so I couldn't find a taxi. No one wanted to pick us up. I had to go mother for a sec. So basically what ends up happening is nobody wants to pick us up. Nobody wants to pick us up. And we were out there for like 15 minutes trying to get a taxi, right? Like, yo, taxi, come pick us up. So finally this man picks it, like, he pulls over, picks us up, and like we're talking, and I'm a talker, right? Like, I pull up in your taxi, like, about to get some words out of you. We're gonna talk, we're gonna conversate, we're gonna get to know each other. I need to know who I'm in presence of, right? So like we start talking, and I tell him that I want to learn about being a midwife, partera, doula, you know, just that whole birthing scene. Like, I want to be a part of that. I cannot make this up. The taxi driver's like, yeah, you know, actually my mother is the only partera in the village that we are from. And I just like, at that point my heart was just like, what the fuck, like, this can't be. Like, this is my first night, bro. Let me get a breather. Let me get a breather, right? I'm like, okay, cool. So like I get his information, you know, we get to talking, and basically like we have this arrangement that we're leaving tomorrow to Puerto Carrillo is the place, and the little pueblito is Felemino, and I can't remember the second. It's like Felemino something. And so basically, so that's like the first one. I'm like, bro, this is the first night, come on now. So the whole month of June, I kept seeing these yellow butterflies. The whole month of June. I mean, I would do voice messages like to my homegirls on WhatsApp or Instagram, like voice message, and butterfly. I'd be at my daughter's track practice, butterflies. But they weren't just any type of butterflies. They were yellow and black butterflies. Yellow and black butterflies. The moment we walk out of the airplane onto the street to where, you know, we are looking for a taxi or the bus that was going to take us to Playa del Carmen, guess what I see? The yellow and black butterfly. Like, what? Like, it was a message. And if you look up the meanings of the black and yellow butterfly, it's basically a message from your angels, like from people who have passed away. And I know I have two angels, like my husband and mi papa. I'm like, yo, y'all called me out here from the month of June. And month of June is a very heavy month for me. June 10th marked 3 years since he'd been gone. June 21st had marked 3 years since the burial. And there's a lot of things that kept lining up. Like on June 12th, I went to a funeral. I parked in front of a headstone, and my homegirl who, like, Bianca, who, like, is learning to tap into her energy and into her power, she's just like, yo, look at the headstone. I have a friend who says there's no such thing as coincidence, and there's a headstone that had Lee on it. Lee, but it was written out L-E-E, Lee. Leon's nickname that I gave him, that's what I called him, was Lee. I'm like, bro, this is too much, right? And that's how the whole month of June kept going. I kept hearing this WizKid song called Essence. I kept hearing that song over and over and over. Everywhere I turned was time is of the essence. Like, I feel it coming. Time is of the essence. Right? If you don't know that song, please look it up. It's a beautiful song, and it embodies, like, I'm gonna get into that. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna take this all in. I'm gonna take these butterflies in. I'm gonna take in that this taxi driver, his mom is a partera. Okay, well, Friday, July 9th is the new moon in Cancer. Yo, listen, I am a Cancer sun. I did not book my flight on purpose and say, you know what, I'm gonna go by water, go by the beach, roll by Cancer in Cancer season during a Cancer moon. I didn't think about, I just listened to spirit. I was like, I need to go right then and there, and these are the cheapest tickets, and I'm gonna go. Yo, what? There's no such thing as coincidence. It's all energy. I needed to be here for my new moon. During the new moon, a few days prior to that, I get this message from this community home that I'm a part of, this community called Avalon, right? If you don't know them, search them up. I'm going to drop the link as well at the bottom. Casa Avalon here in Playa del Carmen. They do a lot of healing work. Like, this community is completely engaged with the folks, right, with people, and their energy is so potent, and I love it. And I got to go to one of their ceremonies the last time I was here in December with my homegirls. Like, they didn't go with me, but I was able to engage in their energy, and it's so beautiful. And Casa Avalon is actually, the founder of Casa Avalon, or one of the founders, is the woman from the shop, from the crystal shop. She had invited me, and so she sends out this message through WhatsApp that they're going to have a Temazcal ritual on Saturday, July 10th, right? So I'm like, all right, cool, I need to go to that. Like, that would be an amazing experience. But in my mind, I'm like, you know what, it's probably going to be maybe like an hour, maybe like 30 minutes. Like, you know, I felt like we're gonna chat maybe, you know, etc. Nope. So on July 9th, I start my moon. I start regulating, I start my period, and I'm like, bro, this is new moon, the new moon. Right? Off of Selena, you know that song. On the new moon, I start my period. And I'm a Cancer moon. I'm a Cancer moon, and there's a new moon in Cancer. So I'm like, oh, mother, embody me with this energy. Like, give it to me. So I'm like, okay, I'm there. Like, I'm tapped in. I'm a healer, because that's what it means. Like, when you're typed into that type of energy, like, you're healing, you're a healer. And so basically what ends up happening is that at that Temazcal ritual, I come to find out that it's considered the mother's womb, and I knew that. I knew that the Temazcal ritual was it itself is considered you returning to the womb, right? What is ruled by the womb? Cancer. The moon is still in Cancer. So I'm like, okay, cool. All right. This is good. I'm supposed to be here. While I'm in there, though, I realized that it's going to be a very lengthy process, because basically in a ritual, you chant, you let it out, like you are literally shedding away, like, ooh, my bad, you're literally shedding away, sweating away all the conditioning you ever thought, right? All of the things that you thought were problems, like you're literally getting rid of them. You are realizing that all of the shit you thought mattered doesn't fucking matter at all. Like, the only thing at that point is your survival, your breath. You living, like, and this is all you do. You fill your body, your abdomen with air, and you release. It is a deep meditation, and you're in there and you're releasing and you're detoxifying your mind, your body, and your soul. But all of that sweat is returning to Mother, to Earth, right? And in this moment, you are one with her, and you're one with yourself, and you're like, oh my God, like, who am I? Like, literally coming out of there, like, you're being reborn again. And each session, so there's 4, and they're called puertas. Cada puerta stands for each element, right? And so each puerta has its own different ritual, right? And chants and singing. And so the first puerta, which, you know, the abuelitas are the rocks, okay? The rocks, they heat them up and they prepare them and they do a ritual and they, you know, they do all these beautiful things. But those are called the abuelitas, and they put them inside of the temazcal. And inside, basically what they do is, you know, they pour the tea. They have this sacred tea. They pour in water and the copal, which is raw. They you know, they burn the copal, and, you know, it's a whole vibe in there. The first puerta is earth. You returning to earth. The second puerta is water. You returning to the balance of internal water. Emotions, right? Emotions are ruled by water. And what is the moon? Emotions. We are under the moonlight in Cancer season and under a Cancer moon. So our emotions in that motherfucker were deep. Okay, when I tell you deep, I mean it was sacred alignment. And then the third puerta was air. Okay, and then the fourth puerta was fire. And in each puerta, more abuelitas came in, right? The rocks, more abuelitas were introduced, and so you know, the heat would continue to be generated. When I tell you we were in there for more than 3 hours during this ritual, it was beautiful, it was intense, and I never ever lived anything like this. But I swear to you, it was like I was reborn. I was given birth again. I was reborn, but from this earth, knowing my purpose and going after it. Because in there you're like, oh, my hair, oh my, all this vanity ain't shit. All of it. And that's why I'm coming at you raw as can be, as raw as I can be, and as authentic as I can be, because I do not give a fuck. Because when I was in there, I seen some shit. I seen the darkest things. Like, I seen some dark ass fucking shit that I left there. And I don't care. I don't care what anybody says, because this is my story. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my story, and this is how it's happened, right? And I don't owe anybody anything, because I am the creditor. I am the author. I am the producer of this motherfucker. And let me tell you something. You are too. You are too. And in that moment, in the womb of my Mother Earth, I realized, like, yo, I gotta share. I gotta let this be shown and shared, and people need to know, like, from here, because I have a lot to share. I have a lot of knowledge. I have a lot of wisdom. Like, I have a lot of wisdom. And this wisdom was acquired in this lifetime. But this wisdom is also one that I can't keep. Knowledge, you can't keep. You gotta share. You gotta share. And the reason being is because you cannot not own anything. You can't own anything. You can have, and you can be caught up in an illusion that you do, but you don't. And that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not here to sell you a dream. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to share my story, because this is me. This is who I am. And this is my story in my eyes, because through your lens, through your conditioning, through what you've been through what you have seen, through what your eyes are seeing, you're going to see me completely different from how I see myself. Because when I see myself in the mirror, yo, let me tell you what I see. Like, bro, I'm like, what? Mamacita, what? You are divine. You are beautiful. You are complete. You are one. You are a mirage of things. You are so beautiful. Words can't even describe you, to be honest. You know, that's how I feel. In your eyes, you may see something else. Like, you know, I don't know. But that's what it is, you know. And I'm here to share my story because in this weave, in this web of life, of energy, of constant motion, you know, this cosmic sea of energy, what we call life, right? I'm here to share it. I'm here to share it because we're all divine beings and we all have a purpose, right? And my purpose is to heal others, to be of service to others, to children, to youngins who get me, because I'm pretty funny. But I'm like your mother, but I'm also like your sister. But I'm gonna talk to you how the fuck it is, but I'm still gonna love you and like listen to you and hear you cry. And I am going to make you some sopita, and I am going to make, I don't know, some agua de melon or agua de sandia, and I'm gonna hear your troubles and we're gonna laugh about it. We're gonna joke, we're gonna tell stories. But guess what? At the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you straight the fuck up. Do the shadow work. Do what you gotta do in this lifetime so that shit don't happen to you. Because at the end of the day, we create. We are creators. You are the author of your life. And that's what I'm coming down to. I've created this life that I'm living. These synchronicities are only me tuning into intuition, like, yo, I'm good. That's it. Those little, you know, those frequencies, the energies, the synchronicities in my life, those are only reminders of knowing that I'm on the right path. That's it. That's how I know. Okay? You got to tap into your power, like, oh shit, I'm on the right path. This is all good. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday, I posted, today, I posted about Wizkid, that song, The Essence, because it kept coming up. But last night, it was at midnight, I had this urge. I was like, oh, this urge to dance. I'm like, let me put on some Wizkid. And I put that song on my computer. It was playing the music video, and it hit me like, it was like an out-of-body experience. I shit you not. Like, this information kept flowing to me, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I like write this up, like, yo, because to me that song, Essence by Wizkid and Thames, is a song. It basically embodies the equilibrium of the masculine and the feminine energies, because, you know, it's like the man is saying some words, the woman's saying some words, but the woman is vulnerable. The man is like, yo, let me take care of you. The woman's like, ooh, I'm gonna receive that, you know, I'm gonna take that, because just like a vagina, that's the feminine principle. We receive. The man with their dick, they give. They are the givers. And so basically, you know, I'm listening to a song and she's like, yo, come to me, like I'm gonna receive, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna give it to you, right? And it's just like this flow, like this beautiful synchronicity of love and connectedness and union, and that is the equilibrium of the masculine and feminine energies. And this man, Kid, he is a metaphysical genius for making that song, because it embodies all of that. It embodies it all. And I kept this song, I'm like, yo, why does this song keep coming out? I kept telling people, like, yo, this song keeps coming up for me. Like, yo, this song keeps coming up for me. Like, yo, this song keeps coming up for me. And then Wise Royalty, Amina was like, yo, look up his birth chart. And I didn't pay attention. I'm like, oh, it doesn't really resonate right now, right? Like, that's a good idea, but it didn't resonate. And then I posted that post today, July 16th, 2021. And I posted, like, you know, how I felt, like, yo, this energy is telling me to tap in, you know, like, tap into this energy, manifest my true love, like, manifest the man that I need and want in my life right now, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I wrote that caption on my Instagram, and you know, I share it, and my homegirl Ashley, because I'm telling you, we're like the queens of synchronicities. She hits me up about this number we keep seeing, the number 27. Something's gonna happen on July 27th, y'all. Like, in my life, in her life, in the collective, like, something is going down July 27th. And like, this energy kept coming, and it came to her, and she sent me like a voice message, like, hey, look at, like, this box came, like, and it had the number 27 on it. What? And then, you know, you add the number 2 and 7, it's the number 9, and it's like new beginnings, right? So I'm like and she's telling me all this, and I'm like, damn, that's crazy. And for some reason it came. I was like, oh my god, let me look up Kid's birthday. Like, something just was like, when she's telling me all this, I'm like, y'all, let me just look, because and guess what? Today is Kid's birthday, July 16th, 1990. Like, oh my god. And he has Mercury in Leo. And I was like, okay, so he's a Cancer sun, Mercury in Leo. He has the talent. His music comes from the ethers, yo. His music, he's literally receiving that information, that music, the lyrics, the way he made, like, the artist he collaborates with, ether. He has a connection. It's in the stars. It's written. This is his fate. He's supposed to be a performer, Leo. And I believe it's in his 5th house. Is the way that I remember it was in his 5th house. He's a performer in Leo. So I was just like, bro, right? Like, like, this is amazing. This is amazing. Energy can't lie. And so I say all of that to share a piece of me, right? To share a piece of me, but far beyond that. I really wanted to share all of those synchronicities because everything is energy. Literally, everything is energy. And the reason why I'm here in Playa del Carmen is to receive it. To receive and give, receive and give, receive and give, receive and give. Because I'm not here to serve myself. I'm here serving to my happiness. My happiness is here in Playa del Carmen, close to the beach. But at the end of the day, I'm here to serve humanity. I'm here to serve children. I'm here to serve a collective group of people willing to embrace my motherly instincts. Like, that's what I'm here to create community. And so to teach, because I love to teach. I love to talk. I love to talk. I love to teach. And so, like, this is my way of doing it. So yeah, this is me, Fer, signing off. Peace and love, y'all.
Wow, thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I truly appreciate this exchange of energy. I hope that you can take away from my story and use it for your betterment. I just want to say thank you again, and I'm sending you so much peace and love. Take care.